Hi there, welcome back to my channel Learn and Grow. Today I'm going to teach you about the Selenium for using it as a web driver, web browser testing. One of the best tool I have known and I have used so far in my career. So let's understand what is Selenium testing. So Selenium is actually an open source tool written in Java, and it's cross platform means it's independent, where it can run on your Windows as well as your Unix or any operating system, and it's supported and licensed by Apache. The Selenium libraries are written in Java. Selenium has these four components. The first is Selenium IDE, which is Selenium Webdriver, is the one we will use, and it's extensively being uh, built, and there is very rich libraries built on it. So we will be using Selenium Webdriver, and we also have the component Selenium Grid. So I'll mostly talk about Selenium Webdriver and Selenium Grid. Talking about WebDriver, it was developed after RC, Selenium RC, but after the Selenium WebDriver version 2 developed completely, Selenium RC was deprecated by the team. And then the functionality of this Selenium WebDriver is to start a specific browser and control it. Like you need to test something on a browser, and then you control that. It controls your browser, and if you send any command like a click or enter text, it accepts all your command by its client APIs and sends them to the browser. So it clicks on the browser and it gets the response of the API and sends it back to your test. So that way you'll be able to test it. And then the Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid is nothing but it's like a server that you can that facilitates testing your tests in parallelly. What I mean by Selenium Grid is, let me explain it by an example. So in every organization, you might be having one or more environment to test for, and in Selenium Grid, suppose you have your four different environment to test the same test cases. So what you do is, instead of testing it on your local machine, you create some virtual machines. So you have four different virtual machines, and you have build these four different virtual machines and let Selenium Grid know about it. And then you have your test cases, the test case that you want to run on four different environments, and which you can run parallelly on these four machines. So what you do is, you send a request to Selenium Grid asking for the browser instance running on virtual machine 2. Now Selenium Grid sends you back the response from here to your test case, and then your test case starts executing on the virtual machine whichever you two, because you requested for two. Likewise, you can request for many more and run your test accordingly. So this is Selenium Grid, which facilitates your testing. Let's proceed to our coding sections. So for if we want our test application to run on Chrome, so we would need a Chrome driver. So you go here and type Chrome driver download, and from there you have this link, chromedriver.chromium.org. So here on this page, it gives you all the current and old releases, depending on your browser, which browser you are using. So I use 75 version. You can go here and check it in your settings. Like, go to settings, help, about Google Chrome, and you know the browser from here, the version of your browser. So I have 75. So I already downloaded this Chrome driver on my system. If you need to download the, if you're using Windows or Linux or Mac, depending on your operating system, download the Chrome driver. This is a zip file which comes downloaded. Now once you have the zip file, the next thing, you need to unzip it. So I would suggest unzip the file to your workspace. By the workspace I mean the project where you created last time when we if I have another video wherein I have taught on how to install IntelliJ and create our first Gradle program. There I created this workspace. If you haven't seen that video, I have the link of that video in the description. Go ahead and watch it, and you can install IntelliJ and Gradle on your system. Once you have the workspace, the suggestion is keep the drivers in your current working workspace. It's because your workspace on your local system could be in C drive, but somebody else working on the same project in your team might keep the workspace in D drive. So it doesn't matter which drive the person keeps, which folder the person keeps the workspace. If you keep the drivers in the current working directory, like the workspace of that project, and you push that folder to master branch to your central repository, and the second person downloads the files from the central repository, then the person gets this folder in their workspace as well. So your code will not break. It will work in your system, and it will work in any other EXABC person's text as well. So and then secondly, what you need is to download the Selenium uh, libraries. So how to put the dependencies of Selenium is by go to Google, type Selenium Maven dependency, and you go to Maven repository, and under this you have the tabs, and you have this Gradle repository. You can just copy this line and put it under your workspace Gradle file, build.gradle, and put it here. Friends, here I have one suggestion. I will the why we put it here is because when we do this, and when we build our project, the project downloads all the dependencies present for Selenium Java for version this particular version into your external libraries. It downloads all the libraries here. I'm also using TestNG to write my tests. Let me enter the presentation mode so that the code looks a little bigger. Yeah, there we go. And I'll open up the file, view, project window. Okay, so this is the TestNG dependency that I have. You can get the same TestNG dependency via the internet, how we got for Selenium. Now you must be having this section in your build.gradle file. For TestNG, a little difference is that you need to write this use TestNG command here in the test, so that Gradle knows that we are using TestNG. Now let's move ahead to the code. As you know, in this tutorial I was going to demo the code for writing how to initialize our browser, how to run the browser for us. So I did the homework already. I have the code written here. If you see in the general initialize base, this is my code. This is the class that I wrote for initializing the driver variable. The driver means it's a object of class WebDriver. A WebDriver class is a part of Selenium package which actually controls the browser. This, when you initialize the WebDriver object, it controls the browser and it accepts all your commands on the browser. So this is how I wrote the code here to make this code has been written on the basis of action driven framework. If you haven't seen, then please go ahead and check out again the action driven framework. Now for this framework we would go in a concept like less code and no hard coding, so that it can be used for any project. And as you see, this is the class initialize base, and this is the simple code that I have here. I have the static variable, because I would like to, because during my test I cannot have my driver variable to be given another the control of any other browser other than the one that I am testing. So static means you cannot change the value of that variable during your test. Then I have this this function which actually decides which browser you want to open, and for which the function accepts this hash map object. Hash map, this is how the action driven is actually, this is the key to action driven framework, wherein every function, every logic you write, there will be a hash map wherein we are asking user the variables that it's needed in order to execute that. And these two variables which we need in order to start a browser are the URL, the application URL that you want to test, and the type of the browser that you want to open on. So this is the two variables that I need, and I'm asking the user those two variables in form of a hash map. The user in this case is nobody, the tester. So the tester needs to provide me the URL and the browser type. Now, based on the browser type, I need to first have tell the Selenium where my exe of the browser is. So in order to get the exe of the browser, this is the command that you run. This gives you the local directory. If you remember, again, I was telling that you should keep the drivers in your workspace. So this command gives you the local workspace path till here, and then once you have the local workspace and you know the browser type, you can loop on the condition which type of browser you want to open. So my condition, for suppose my tester wants to open the Chrome browser, so it will fall under this condition. And then now that I have the path till my workspace, I need to tell Selenium where the exe lies in the workspace. So this is what I'm doing. I'm appending the path with exact location of the exe Chrome driver. The Chrome driver path is stored in this string variable. Now setting up the properties, saying that this is how you set the property, telling that you are going to use Chrome driver and give the driver exe path. Now that you have the set property done, you have to instantiate the Chrome driver with the driver instance. So the static variable driver now has the value Chrome driver. Since now this is what you need to do, and I guess you are done. Now finally what you need to do is, you have the driver, you have to open the browser. In order to get the browser open with your desired URL, this is the command, and this command maximizes the browser once, because the browser opens in your in minimized way, and then this command you need to write to maximize your browser. This is the basic code for the initializing your browser, any type of browser. Now in order to run the browser, you need to write a test, and this is what the test is. The browser, opening up the browser is a part of like a setup test, and not just test, a setup. So in testng we have certain setup sections as well. When you write testng, you can put the opening browser under the setup function, like here what I have done. In the params, this is my again hash map local to initialize test class. So params.put, I'm giving the URL, and params.put browser type, I'm giving the type of browser, and directly running the I'm starting up the application by giving this command. Now let's run the test. It started, you see, and there you go, we have the Chrome browser opening up, and it did open our home page of Google, which we wanted to, and you see the test pass. Friends, thank you for watching my video. Hope this was helpful to you. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to see more new videos coming up. Thank you so much. Have a great day and happy learning.